If we're serious about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we need to take action that's far more holistic. We need to put both people and environment at the heart of our actions. I think in the UK, with the net zero strategy, the pressure on carbon action is intense, and I think it has caused in some organisations, maybe some people to sort of put on the carbon blinkers, or I've also seen it called carbon goggles. The pressure is intense. You've got investors asking, you've got regulators making it mandatory to disclose, you've got the wider public and media. So carbon does need to be part of a wider programme, but there just needs to be a caution that when you're looking at carbon or making carbon-related decisions, that you don't create unintended consequences for other ESG issues. Understanding, you need to focus on issues that are more important for you, going to create the most benefit. Often that's called a materiality assessment or a double materiality assessment. We also try and map issues against where they have direct control or reasonable level of influence, and also where changes aren't going to be created by a third party, such as policy initiatives or policy programmes. It's also important to work out where collaboration with others is possible. The scale of change we need to achieve here is such that one organisation can't do it alone. So identifying where you can collaborate with others to create the significance and systemic change we need to achieve, I think is going to be critical for success. There is an increasing focus on biodiversity and nature-based solutions. It's clearly a biodiversity crisis. So organisations need to start tackling this. For me, where you start is, as with many other ESG issues, looking at how you interact with nature. So how do you depend on it, but also what are your impacts on it? From discussions with organisations, many have already tackled or already understand some of these. So if you're a large organisation, you might have sensitive nature reserves around the site, you've probably already got a local plan to reduce the impact you're having on that. And similarly, if an organisation, say, is in the food sector, so highly dependent on nature, you've already looked at that, you've got it in your risk programmes, because for you it's just access to raw materials. Social issues also tend to, in my opinion, get pushed down the list a little bit. And it's a question that I've asked myself many times, why? Surely it isn't because we think social is less important than the environment? I mean, that doesn't seem sensible. But social issues are absolutely affected by local stakeholders, different cultural differences, and therefore, your solution needs to be tailored to those. So unlike carbon, you're not looking at a single metric that you can easily measure global performance of a multinational. Your actions and solutions need to be tailored to all of those local stakeholders, local cultural differences. So in practice, it's harder because it needs to be managed and led bottom up.